Welcome to Chronicles of Old Singapore. This is Dr Loh KS, the people's historian, and I speak to people on their memories of Singapore before it became a global city. Do like the video and subscribe to the channel for future episodes. This will help us a lot. Very happy to have with us on the show today two sisters, and they are the first people I interview who are not, from Singapore or born in Singapore. I interviewed previously an episode with Ashok Kumar, who was born in Singapore, but then their parents went back to India, and I think he became an Indian. So in this case, I've always wanted to invite people who have, a strong bond with Singapore, but who are not Singaporeans. And that's not surprising because Singapore is part of, the world and has a big tie-in with world history, especially British history. So let me welcome Karen and Angela.
Hello.
How are you?
Not bad today.
Yeah.
We're good. Yeah.
Whereabouts are you now?
We're in Portsmouth in England. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually live just very close to Portsmouth, but yes, very close to where our mum was born and brought up and met our dad, who was the Navy guy. Yes.
Right. And Portsmouth, as the name suggests, it's a port, right?
Yes.
Right. Is it still a port today?
Yeah. Well, it's a very historic port. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's so it used to be one of the Royal Navy's big home ports, the dockyard. Much less so now, but still a working port. Ferry port, mainly, I suppose. Yeah, I would say so. And leisure sailing, a lot of leisure sailing now.
Yeah, and the dockyard has been opened up to
Other businesses now.
and also the dockyard is like a historical museum, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Home to HMS Victory,
Mary
HMS
Rose.
Warrior, Mary
Yeah.
Rose. Yeah, it's very historic.
Yeah.
So the port, is it still functioning?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. But the dockyard is no longer functioning?
The dockyard,
Some of it,
yes, but
it is. Yeah,
it's
just very much reduced.
it's
I think.
very much reduced over what it would have been in its heyday, which I guess would have been the mid 20th century, really. So it used to be home to submarines as well as boats, ships. And the submarines don't really live here anymore.
The two carriers come in quite a lot. don't they?
Yes, we have the two big carriers coming in.
So yeah, there is an
They can
aim.
just get in.
Yeah.
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 There is a naval presence here. Yeah.
I want to thank November, my friend, who I think she's studying her PhD at Portsmouth, and she met Sam.
Oh, she's the one who knows
Right.
Sam.
Yeah.
Sam's colleague. Yes. Okay.
Right. So I think Sam, your son, is also, whose son is that? That is
My son.
Yeah.
Angela's son.
Yeah.
Right. And Sam is doing his PhD in architecture. Is that right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct.
okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thanks to two PhD students meeting together, one from
Yeah.
Portsmouth and the other one from Singapore, right? I was able to be in
Yes,
touch
that's
with,
great.
Karen and Angela. But funny enough, I mentioned the Memories of Singapore Facebook page. I have actually gotten in touch with the administrator, who is Tim. And he's also put me in touch with a couple of people from Singapore, or who were young in Singapore in the 60s, right? But funny enough, none of them were from the naval base, at least those who responded, right? They were from like
That's interesting.
Seletar and Tengah.
Yeah.
So, and then I was very pleasantly surprised when November wrote to me and say, hey, I've got two ladies here. She just met the son who were from the naval base, right? Let me ask you, how did you both come to be in Singapore in the 60s?
So basically our dad was a young man in the Navy. And he was part of the submarine division group, and he was stationed in various places, I say around the world, but actually the Mediterranean mostly. He had stints in Malta, and this one in Singapore.
Mm.
So we came with him on this occasion. We wouldn't normally. We've never accompanied him on visits. I suppose his big trips were when we were quite small, or not here at all, actually. So in the early days,
I think
so. The Singapore trip was basically a family trip. We all went, very excited to do that as well. So he was stationed in the naval base. I really don't know what his job would have been, but as a submariner, he was one of many submariners based with the depot ship, the HMS Forth, in the naval base at that time. So we arrived in 1966, and we were there for 2.5 years until 1969, when we came home in the summer of 69. So we were all here for 2.5. We were all in Singapore for 2.5 years.
How old were you both at the time?
So I was 9.
I was 6.
You were 6, and we have 2 brothers. So Colin would have been 7, and my youngest brother was 18 months old. He was just a toddler. So yeah, there were 4 of us kids.
So I'm quite surprised that previously he had your father had just gone on his posting and without bringing the family along.
Yeah, no.
So this
it
was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect I'm probably misrepresenting it slightly. I think many of his trips were relatively short. He would be away,
and they were closer as well,
and they were closer, Mediterranean. So, but he would be gone for 6 weeks at a time. So my mum was. She was a single mother for a lot of the time, bringing up 3 to 4 children. But certainly in the early days, I was very young when we were stationed abroad as a small family. There was only me, and Colin was born in Malta.
Yeah.
So we were stationed in Malta for 2.5 years. But that was the only long-term posting before Singapore, which was 66. Yeah. And that was his last posting abroad as well. Yeah.
That was his last posting. So after Singapore?
Well, we returned to Fareham, which is a town just down the road here, at the other end of Portsmouth Harbour.
And then he left the Navy.
He left. So yeah, he actually worked for a couple of years in the submarine escape training tower, which you can see on Google Earth if anyone's interested. If you look at Gosport, if you look at the Portsmouth, on the other side there's a small town called Gosport, and that's where HMS Dolphin, which was the submarine base, was, I should say. It's been completely decommissioned now, but there's an escape training tower which is still there, full of water. But his job was to help train submariners escape from a submarine. So it's a big tower of water, about 100 feet of water, I think. So he did that for 2 years before leaving the Navy.
And then he left,
And then he left the Navy.
I want to find out your father, what was his name and what was his rank? Because that would affect, the housing that you had, right? Yeah.
Yes, it probably did. I had paused to think about this yesterday, but basically,
He was CPO.
He was a chief petty officer, which is CPO, but I'm not sure if he went to Singapore as a chief petty officer, because we'll have to look at his records and have a look. Because I have a feeling, but it could have been. I've always thought of him as a chief petty officer, but that might have come slightly later than the Singapore posting. And I really don't know what his actual job was there. But when we first arrived in Singapore, we lived in a house in Jalan Asas in Bukit, Timah. Which is still there because I visited it 2 years ago just to check. We lived at 28 Jalan Asas, which we were there for, I can't remember, months, maybe up to a year. But then we got accommodation inside the Navy base, which I assume were married quarters. There were blocks of flats that were set back from, I'm thinking it must have been Admiralty Road West. I'm just guessing that. But it was set back south of that. If you came in through the Rotherham Gate, it was along the road, and it was on the right. There was some flats off a road called Fraser Road, which doesn't exist anymore. There don't seem to be any records of it, so I've no idea. It would be close to where Woodlands is now, I think, looking at the map, because we've been hunting around to see if there was any clue.
Yeah, and I always thought there was a rubber plantation.
And there was a rubber plantation at the back. Behind there was
Yes.
that was the edge of the Navy base, because there was a fence. I'm guessing it was the edge of the Navy base, but there was a rubber plantation at the back, behind that.
I do have a map, so let's take a look at it and try to find it. Okay, I see Fraser here.
Oh, that's it. That's it. That is it. Fraser Road.
This looks like there's
It was so there was a road. That's right. It's on the right. It curved right around, and our block, I think, there's a line of 4 there, and if you count down from the top right, it was the next one down. That's where we lived. We lived in one of those flats,
and this is where we used to play.
We did this, and so south of that, so you've got the boundary. I think there's a boundary fence. All that area between the flats and the boundary were. It was basically a field, wasn't it? It was just grassed, and us kids used to play there a lot. In fact, there was a bunker in the corner on the.
I was about to say there was some bunker there.
And a tree with a rope swing that we used to hurl ourselves off, and an ant's nest.
Yes.
And there was a bunker there, because we'd sit there and tell each other ghost stories and frighten the bejesus out of ourselves. Yeah, but
and then they'd send me back home because I was the youngest on my own.
But I loved it, and then you can see really clearly in front of the flats, there's a kind of big square just before you get to that. We called that that was called the Padang. I think that's a Malay name for a field, I think, but
right.
That was my battery's coming.
It would have been 32, number 32.
Oh, would it? Yes, okay, that's possible. I can't.
Here.
I cannot remember the name of the.
Right.
We certainly didn't live on the ground floor. We lived up in one of those, but it was one of those buildings, certainly.
How many stories were there? How many floors were there?
I think there were 4.
I would say at least 4.
And I think we probably lived in the top one.
Can you just get this for a minute? I've just suddenly remembered. I found some old letters, and I'm wondering if they've got an address on them. 34F.
Okay.
Yes, it was 34F.
There you go, 34F.
34F.
Right. Okay, great.
I found some old letters that my mum had obviously kept that and this was our last letters because we were coming home.
Really?
And we'd all gone down the shops to buy something before we left.
Really?
Yeah, apparently so, yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. Yeah. 34F Fraser Road.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So these were actually flats, yeah? You had to walk up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they were blocks of flats. Yeah. So we'd walk down to the main road to get buses to school.
Yeah, as you said, there's a rubber plantation here.
Yeah. I wonder if it's still. Yes, that was it. Yes, it is.
Because I can remember. I'm sure there was a road we could see somewhere, because I can remember. I thought I could, unless it was when we were just travelling in and out. But I can remember seeing the workers used to come in. Through a gate. Yeah. Like in the mornings or the afternoons or something.
Private Robert. Yeah, that was. It was very green.
Very green.
Very green. Yeah.
Are the flats in one of the videos you sent me?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't think they are. There was.
Okay.
There were some built. There was a very small clip of inside the naval base, but I don't think that wasn't the flats that we lived in.
Right.
No.
Right.
No, we've got the videos mainly are of our stay in Jalan Asas, actually, because when we first arrived, just as an interlude, we actually lived in number 30. We lived in one house. So there's a video of us in one house, but then we moved next door. When they moved out, I think it was all concreted, and I think my mum thought it was more sanitary or something. I don't know. Anyway, we moved next door to number 28. And then the house now looks very different. It's had another level built onto it. And at the time it was all fenced and open monsoon drains. And all those have been covered up now.
Massive
And the walls all
monsoon.
bricked up. Yeah, it's very different now. But I'm amazed it's still there, to be honest. If you look on Google Maps, it's just like this little enclave, this little suburban area.
Like a little area, and then you can see in the distance how it's up. It was a lovely little place.
These flats at Fraser Road, are they still around?
No, I don't think so, because if you Google Fraser Road, it doesn't come up with anything. And Karsang, I was there 2 years ago. It's the first time I've revisited Singapore since we left. And we had an occasion to stop over in Singapore on the way back, a big trip. And I gamely felt that I could do this on my own, go to Sembawang on the metro system. And I got there and I thought, I don't know where anything is. It's all so different. So we actually did we managed to hire a taxi, a guy who basically ferried us around for the day. And he took us all the way around the island so that we went down Admiralty Road. And there was just nothing left. Not that I recognised anyway. Certainly Fraser Road doesn't exist anymore. I think it's all been replaced by flats now and other things. Okay. Or, well, it could be anything. I would be really interested in having a copy of that map.
Sure. I'll send it over
so I could interpret it. I don't know if Rattus Road still exists. It would be really interesting to check it out, actually. Yeah.
Is that Rattus Road? Is that more flats over there?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. That's very interesting, isn't it?
What
I don't remember that side.
Are those also flats?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I only ever remember this side.
Yeah, we only ever did that. We were quite small, so I suppose we didn't really have a lot of independent movement, really. Yeah. We wouldn't have been exploring over the road, not without getting really told off.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right.
But that's fantastic to see that map.
Yeah.
I'm so pleased because it's almost like a confirmation it really did exist.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
So perhaps we can start from the beginning. When you landed in Singapore, what was your impression of Singapore?
I can tell you my first impression. This is a very, one of those things you just remember. Because it was very exciting for us, to be traveling anywhere. I don't think we'd have been on a plane before then.
No, I definitely haven't.
And I remember we landed at Changi when I suppose it was still, well, I don't suppose there was any civil aeroplanes going out of it. It was Navy and Forces airport. And when they opened the plane door and we all moved out, I can remember it felt like walking into an oven. Yeah, that was my overwhelming. It was like literally being hit by a blast furnace for someone who'd come from England in the winter. And then I can remember just thinking the overwhelming sense of heat. I was completely overcome by it. It was quite exciting, actually. But that is kind of my only memory of that. We must have gone straight to the house in Bukit Timah.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
And then the days after that, we were put into school very quickly, I think, and on the naval base. So we all went to the junior school in the naval base, which is at the Sembawang end, the Sembawang gate end.
And that was only in the mornings, wasn't it?
All school was only in the mornings, 8 till 1. And I remember in the first days arriving, it's funny how you get used to these things, because we must have been incredibly pale skinned. I mean, we are incredibly pale skinned
Anyway.
but when you arrive and you have other people, I suppose there were other people there to help us socialize us and stuff like that. But you realise that their skin was more tanned, and we ended up looking like this white skin with these little pink dots everywhere because of the mosquito bites. I remember that. That was just weird, you know. I just think, God, it's got these mosquito bites. When are we going to stop getting bitten? And of course, in those days, you didn't really have any protective stuff. I mean,
we had the nets on the beds.
Oh, we did have mosquito nets on the
Yeah.
bed. Oh,
Yeah.
I remember being really excited. This is very silly, but walking into the house and all the furniture was made of bamboo. And I thought that was the height of sophistication, having bamboo furniture. It was absolutely, I thought, this is just brilliant, you know. Yeah, that was, and that little Bukit Timah was a great place to live, actually. I really enjoyed that.
Mm.
And I always remember that on the way to school or on the way back, you always had the ice shavings man.
The ice shavings man.
He had a little truck, and he used to give you a glass of a beaker of ice, shaved ice, wasn't it?
It was a beaker of shaved ice. It was with syrup on it.
Yeah. I used to love them. Yeah.
Where was this ice shavings man? He was outside the base?
No, this was when we were.
This was in Bukit Timah. So again, we used to get bussed to and from the naval base for our school. So there was a lady that would escort us over the road, pick up the bus, and on the way back she cut us all back, and we come up the little alley, which is still there.
Which I'm not sure if I sent you that one or not.
But there is, but there was a man with a.
There was a bike with
a big white box on it.
Yeah.
It might have had a brolly.
Yes.
And he'd do these ice shavings.
Yeah. So it used to be a thing he used to do with his foot.
Was it?
Yeah. And it was like some sort of manual thing, and it's to shave the ice.
And then you could have the syrup of your choice.
Put it in the cup, and then
nice.
Yeah, you could have strawberry syrup.
Yeah, that was nice. I remember the shave. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
It was the highlight of the day.
Come back. You can have. Yes, indeed. Yeah. That was great. Yeah, that was great, actually.
Yeah. Can we take a look at the Jalan Asas map? I didn't prepare one, so we can just look at the Google Maps, right?
I can, yes. Not yet. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is. Yes.
Okay. Right. So is it here? Now it's the Rail Mall, I think. And there are some houses. Fuyong Estate.
Oh, that's that what it was called, the Fuyong? Oh, yeah, it probably was. Yeah, it's still there. Yes. So you can see where the main road is on the left, which is now a huge carriageway. It wasn't as big then.
Yeah.
And then you've got the little strip mall on the right, which was there then. And then number 32 is pretty much where that anchor. Where is it? So it'll be. I think Jalan Asas is this one over. Is it the one that's over here on the left?
Does it look something like this?
It does look something like that. But
this is
that's
40.
not.
This
yeah,
40.
that's not.
Yeah.
It's not as. It's not. Doesn't. So that one looks still very much like how they were when we lived there. But this one. Yes, so further here, this one, red one, this one with the gate with the red, that's number 28, I think.
Okay. Yeah, this 28.
Didn't look,
that's right. Yeah.
Yes,
it does say
so
here 28.
that didn't look like that as developed as that when we lived there. It looked more like with the grassy bank of number 4.
Well, the monsoon drain at the bottom, that looks like it's been covered over.
They've all been covered over. So I used to have these open V-shaped drainage channels, which my brother ended up in once.
Couple of times
with split chins and things like that. Boys being boys.
So I guess this was your temporary housing while they were preparing.
That was our temporary
house.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Any memories of this area, like the things you did around here?
Yes. So actually, that house between 28 and the next house, there used to be a rambutan tree.
Yes. Oh, I remember sitting under the rambutan tree, just sitting there.
Yeah.
Picking it off. Peeling up and eating until I was practically sick.
Yeah,
I used to love them.
Yeah, rambutan trees.
Yeah.
And walking down the road to the little alley that takes you through to the shops at the bottom of the road, shopping in the shops at the bottom of the road.
Yeah.
I also remember an incident when we went with my mum, and Simon was very small. He was about 18 months. And I remember in one of the shops there was a feral cat.
Oh yeah.
And Simon went to pet it. I think my mum must have had the dog. I don't know if she had the dog with her, Ching.
I don't know.
But she couldn't move. She shouted to me to get Simon, and I was just frozen to the spot thinking, I don't know what's going on. And Simon went to pet this cat.
And it went for him.
And it went for him. And oh my goodness me. Oh my goodness me. Poor Simon. He ended up with his his cat literally stuck on his hand. Of course, he did this, as an 18 months screaming. And this cat did a couple of circuits, I think, on his arm before I realised really what was required of me, with my mum yelling at me because she couldn't act for some reason. And I think it might have been because she had the dog with her. We had a dog while we were there. He was a lovely animal, actually, but eventually had to be rehomed. So that was my memory of living. And then also other memories, strong memories of walking into Bukit Timah proper. I don't know which direction that would have been, but we used to walk into Bukit Timah often to have a meal in the evening, and the smell of the brollies.
The brollies.
The paper brollies, the wax brollies? The wax paper brollies. I loved all that. And so I think we must have been in monsoon season when we arrived or something, because I can remember just how wet it always was. But I remember walking into Bukit Timah a lot to eat in the evenings.
Remember what you ate?
Rice.
I don't remember actually, but I don't remember specific meals. I just remember the general experience of sitting outside. There were lots of people. And
there's lots of bowls of things.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
And
you just used to.
So the other thing that came with this was we had an armour. It was it was common for us to have an armour to help Mum, and she was lovely. I think her name was Alan, but I can't remember. She was Chinese, and I think part of what she did with us was to feed us actually in the afternoons when we got home.
I always remember her egg fried rice.
Egg fried rice.
Fried rice.
Just the best. Right. Yeah, egg fried rice.
Egg fried rice. She used to do it in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and honestly, it was just the best ever.
Yeah.
I've never managed to
variations, that sort of thing. Yeah.
And so I do remember that, and I just remember trying lots of food.
Yeah, she used to cook quite a lot of our food, I think.
She did used to cook a lot of our foods, but I do remember because I think maybe we were always asking her for it but it was a big thing for my mum. She was really keen on us having a wide palate, basically eating a lot of different food while we were there.
Yeah,
I think she really understood the experience of living in another country and trying to eat lots of the local food. We did lots of things like I don't know if this is while we were in Bukit Timah, but we would often go into Singapore City to the night markets and eat. That was quite common. And all sorts of it. I remember the Indian samosas. They were tiny little things, and they were the hottest things my 9-year-old palate had ever taken.
Well, I remember we were at one meal, and I think it was Colin. I think he gave Simon, only like 2.
It was chili sauce.
He ate a whole.
Oh, did he?
Whole piece of chili. Yeah.
I thought that was a different experience. He tried some tomato sauce, which was chili sauce at Aggie West.
No, I think it was a bit of chili.
Anyhow, his face. Yeah, that was. quite something to behold.
Yeah. Yeah. So the food. Yeah, I loved the. I think that's where we've got such a good.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Appreciation of that kind of.
But
food.
we also did one of the other things we did, I think, while we were in Bukit Timah mostly was visit the reserve, Bukit Timah Reserve, which was right behind us. We used to walk up to that, and as a school child, we had a big trek into the reserve. It must have been on the island, to sit on the old Japanese guns that were there. Yeah. Well, that's what so basically it was a real trek as well. It was all sorts of insects. I can remember being slightly horrified by the size of the ants and various horrifying things. But it was a quite exciting journey. It was a walk through the reserve to get to some kind of gun emplacement, which I believe was a World War II Japanese gun. And we couldn't sit on it that day because there was a hornet's nest in the barrel.
Oh my God, good job. Good job I didn't go.
I remember that.
I remember all the creepy crawlies. I didn't like. Oh, the chit chats on the wall.
Chit chats.
You used to pull their tails and they used to come off.
You didn't do that, did you?
I used to go to pick them up off the
And they
wall.
leave your tail.
And then the tail would just come off. But they were very fast, and I liked the chit chats, but I didn't like all the other.
Yeah, the chit chats were very exciting.
And I'll tell you another thing. Do you remember that big butterfly? I don't think it was moths.
Atlas moths. Yeah,
was it moths or
Atlas moth migration?
Cloud of them. Do you remember? Like there was a big load of them went over the house.
I remember them on
like
the side of the house. Yes, because they were the size of your hand.
Yeah,
and they several of them landed on the side of so you could literally walk up and inspect.
Yeah. I remember the big.
I don't know what species of moth it was, but they're obviously in a migration.
Classified, but obviously, maybe they're moths.
Oh, but might be.
I thought they were butterflies. I'm not sure, but I know they were massive.
Yeah, they might have been butterflies.
And there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that, thinking, I've never seen anything so big.
Oh, we had the occasions, not so pleasant. I remember the occasion of the rat that came in that time.
Yeah.
It was really wet outside.
A full scale alert happened.
Oh, yes.
The dog went crazy, Mum went crazy, everything was...
We didn't know what was happening at first until Mum realised it was a rat, and Ching, our dog, was chasing this rat around the living room. It had just come in. It probably had a nest on the embankment because as you can see from Google Maps, that you go into the house and then up some stairs to where the patio is. And I think in those days, because the grassed embankment, we think it just it was mown quite regularly. A guy would come round and strim it, or whatever he did with it. Wouldn't have been a strimmer then.
Probably not.
Anyway, we think it disturbed the nest of this rat and it had come in. So it was quite exciting times.
Yeah, there's always lots of different
There was something going
insects
on.
and things that you'd never come across before. And I remember the ant's nest because I got stung a lot.
Yes. So that was it. So that was Bukit Timah but I do remember in that area, pretty sure it was around that area, there was a condensed milk factory.
Oh, do you?
Because we had a school trip to the condensed milk factory, which was very close to where we lived. It was on that side somewhere, and it was a very exciting trip because he'd opened the pipe and he got some condensed milk out and we could all have some.
Oh,
very exciting. Yeah. So I don't remember that it was right. I don't remember that being industrialized at all when we were there.
No, I don't.
Except for this condensed milk factory, which was there somewhere, I think.
Okay. Let's take a look at the Sembawang, the naval base again. Could you point me to the junior school? Where is the junior school?
Yes, the junior school is so at the gates, the Sembawang gates. I think one of them might still stand. So it's Admiralty Road West. Oh, so yeah, let's have a look. Where are the gates there?
Which one? The main gate?
The Sembawang gate.
Okay.
Where the
Sembawang
village
Gate
would
is
have been.
Here.
Okay. Yes. Oh, the Royal Naval School. You can see it there. Look. So just north of the gate, there's the Royal Naval School.
Yeah.
That's where the junior school was.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
a
the
junior school? Okay.
junior and infant school was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I see.
And it's the buildings are still there. And I think it's been more recently used as some kind of mental health facility or some
really?
kind of.
Is that what you found
hospital.
out when you went back?
Well, it wasn't used at all. It was all fenced off, and it looked like it had been used. I don't know if it's being, but the building, the plot is still there, being used for something. And on the other side of the road, because I can remember getting the cab driver. I said, I recognise that turn round. Nothing else is recognisable around there. But there are also these black and white. This is where all these black and white mock Tudor houses are.
That circle.
Yeah, on the left of that road.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yes.
So the very, very upper.
The important people.
In the Navy.
Base, yeah.
Mm.
So the naval school was there, yes.
But they're still there, did you say?
When you were there, Karen, at 9, that's secondary school already?
No, that was still primary
Right,
school.
yeah, primary school, right?
I think if they talk about year 1 and year 2, so it would have been year 4 or something. So basically, it was my last year of junior school. So the following September, 1967, I then went to Bourne School, which was where the secondary education happened. So only primary and infant school education happened on the base, I think.
Because that's the only school I went to.
Yeah. And then I have a secondary school. So
But you went to a different school.
Yeah, age 11. So 9.
To 68, maybe.
You know, my mind. Yeah, so it could be 68. Anyway, 66. So I then went to Bourne School. No, I think I arrived at 9, 10.
Yeah, it could have been.
It must, anyway, I can't remember. But basically, my secondary education was then started at Bourne School, which is split into 2 sites, 2 sections, Alexandra and Gilman, which was closer to Singapore City. And it's now the site of the international school, which is kind of on a hill. It's got a very high, in fact, it's built over several levels. And that was really good fun. You could spend quite a lot of time looking out the window at the boats in Singapore Harbour.
Instead of doing your work.
Yeah, it was quite good fun.
Right.
So that is, so Gilman Barracks, used to be, and that became a school. And then Alexandra was literally a couple of 100 yards away on High Point. And that's now it's an international school. I can't remember what it's called.
So I just want to ask you now, like your household, right? What was your father's family name?
Brooks.
All right.
Robert Brooks.
The Brooks household, right? Like who ran it, and what were the rules in the household? Were you girls allowed to go out, and or you had to come back from school and stay in the house?
I remember mainly quite often after school, we used to come home from school, have lunch or whatever, and then we were always down the swimming pool.
Yeah,
pretty much in the naval base swimming pool all afternoon.
Yeah, so when we were in Bukit Timah, we would often, and my mum would accompany us mostly on those occasions. So my mum kind of ran the house, really. Yeah, I mean,
she had a lot of help from the army.
She did have a lot of help from the army, but we would.
And the Ama also accompany you to Fraser Road?
No, and
No.
no, I don't think
Yeah.
she did actually.
Mm.
We had another armour called
that
Anna.
Ah.
Yeah,
She was a Malaysian lady.
yeah. Anna was in.
Anna. She was with us in. Did we have an armour there?
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm.
And then so in Bukit Timah, we'd often go to RAF Tenga to swim because that was the closest pool. So that's the RAF. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
RAF base. We'd go to Tenga. When we moved to the naval base, we'd go down to HMS Sultan, also known as HMS Terror. I don't know which one it was called at that time. And we'd swim there. Or go to Aggie Weston's, which was the Sailor's Rest, which had a great pool.
Mm.
So we had a lot of opportunity to swim.
We swam a lot.
We swam a lot, actually. We spent a lot of afternoons at the pool.
Yeah. And I remember even if it was raining, because it used to be like hot rain for us, you know,
Yeah.
it was like it was still warm. So
Yeah.
to just still keep
Yeah.
swimming.
Yeah, we did. We were at the pool a lot. In fact, it was quite common for kids with very blonde hair would often their hair would go a funny metallic green colour.
Green?
Yeah,
From the chlorine.
from the chlorine in the
From
pool
the
because they
chlorine.
spent so much time
I
in
think
the
yours was a little bit of shade of green, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, mine wasn't sad, but there were some of the other kids who were really blonde. The hair would just go bright green, like a bright yellowy green. It was very strange thing. Yeah.
Yeah, can you explain, why the love for the pool? Was it because you love swimming or was it because of the climate?
I think it was just our playground. I think it was just
Yeah.
somewhere all the children could go. I think it was just somewhere that
Yeah.
the parents could.
I mean, I'm sure we didn't go every day, but
Went a lot.
we did go a lot. And our parents, I think the mothers, presumably, would also socialise. It was a way for them
Yeah.
to socialise because I know Mum found it she found it a little bit tricky while we were there. I don't think
Yeah.
we were fully aware of it at the time.
Because she had 4 of us.
She had 4 of us, and I think she felt quite isolated, to be honest.
Mm,
When you
mm.
haven't got family around, I think she found it quite difficult at times. So I think it's allowed the women to have a social network as well. This is my guess.
And we could just run around.
We could.
They knew that we were
Yes.
in that area.
Yes, because we weren't really allowed to do anything independent. I mean, I wouldn't have been, well, I was only 9, to be honest. I wouldn't have been allowed to go anywhere else on my own.
Oh, I remember Bukit Timah. We just used to play outside, didn't we, on the road or not on the road.
No, but the Padang, the Padang in front of the flats in Fraser Road. They'd play a lot there and at the back.
I always remember feeling it was very relaxed and
It was very relaxed, very
easy going. We were
easy
never
going.
told. I don't remember having to stay, being told to do anything. It's just that we just used to stay.
And that was quite
in that area.
Yeah. We didn't have any other activities organised for us at all. And, because it would have been quite different in the UK where school doesn't get out until 3:30. And we felt it was a bit of a luxury, really, wasn't it? I think we quite liked the idea. We did get up early. You were up early and your bus to school started at 8. And then, but at 1, that was it.
Yeah, we were quite free to do what we wanted.
Yeah.
Do you know why you would end school in Singapore earlier? Is it because you start earlier?
I think it was the heat.
I have a feeling.
I don't think they thought we could cope.
Well, I have a feeling we were. I don't think
I don't know
this, but I suspect it is something to do with the heat and the climate itself allowed you. Yeah, I think it was a way. I mean, maybe it's for the teachers as well. I don't know, but by the time it's midday, I think they're thinking, right, that's done. And I also think, but at the time, I remember seeing other school children, Singaporean children, on their way to school. Now, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember thinking there used to be a morning session of school and an afternoon session of school where a different set of kids would go. They'd have their schooling in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
But I might have made that up. not
That's right.
knowingly, but they used to be. So I think it was very common anyway for all kids to have their education in the morning.
Yeah, were there other places in the naval base that you found interesting?
I don't think we got to go anywhere else,
Mm.
to be honest.
No, I only ever remember going.
We did go out to Sembawang. We'd go out. Okay, if mum was going shopping, we'd go with her.
Yeah.
They
So we
used
used to go down to the local shops and things, but
So you know this area? Okay, this is the main gate of Canberra Gate. And just
I don't
outside
remember
Canberra Gate there was a village. Chongpang
Oh, yeah.
Village.
Don't remember. See, I don't remember that. I don't even
Ah.
remember there being another gate. Oh yeah, look at that Canberra Gate.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
so
so maybe
the
they were
employees, like the Asian employees, would go in through this
Oh.
gate. Yeah.
Oh,
But I suppose
Wow.
I think you mean the Sembawang Village, right?
yes.
yeah.
Okay, I got to go back to the other map. So that village is just near the school, isn't it?
Yes.
Sembawang Village here.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Exactly. Yes, exactly that.
Because we used to walk down there, didn't we?
Yeah. Where it says yes, Sembawang Village. That is where we used to go. That's the bit we knew. And there was a dressmaker there. Mum had.
You should have our clothes made.
Yeah. But that's it really. I don't know. I don't have a memory of anything else, especially there. I hadn't even appreciated there was more than 2 gates. To be honest.
Right.
Yeah, I just didn't really know.
Yeah, I think that was
Okay.
mainly our shopping experience, wasn't it?
And going into Singapore City.
And then we used to have trips out to various places, didn't we?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Tiger Bomb Gardens and
Tiger Balm Gardens, yeah. I love
Can I-
Tiger Balm
Can
Gardens.
I just ask you, where was the swimming pool?
Okay. Oh, right. So if you go to, is HMS Terror on there or HMS Sultan?
So Tara is here.
Terror. So I
Yeah,
think,
Yeah.
do you know, my understanding, I might be a bit confused about this, but HMS Terror was renamed HMS Sultan
There is
in the
is
mid
this a
60s.
pool? This looks like a pool.
That's it then.
Right.
Rates.
There's a gym
Let's
and
say rates.
sports. Oh yeah, there's a pool here also. There are several of them.
Yeah, that's it then. That's it.
Okay.
HMS Terror.
that would be it.
That's it then. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah, because I can remember it being quite a big complex.
It was quite a big
Yeah.
complex.
Yeah, right. Any memories
Yeah,
of HMS Terror?
Yeah. Again, it was a pool that was very well used by the service families on the base. We used to have all sorts of sports days there. I remember being in a dad-daughter race. Yeah.
I love to dive there.
Yeah. Well, we all learned to swim.
All learned to swim and dive. Yeah.
What other memory I've got? So the church on site was the one that you had your first communion in.
Oh yes,
Because we were, and I remember being persuaded to go to church because of that lovely lime juice that they
used to tempt
the chaplain used.
Yeah, they used to. After church, you had this. What's it? Lime juice.
I thought it was like a lemonade. It's like a lemonade made with limes, fresh.
We were both saying that we could practically taste it because it was so different. It was so unusual, and it was lovely.
Very nice. So we were persuaded to go to church because we were bribed.
We would get a glass of this juice afterwards.
And what other memories of Terror in particular? None especially, except it was just a great place to be. It was like being on holiday all the time.
And I remember
as a 9-year-old.
Yeah, it didn't feel like you were living, on a naval base.
Actually, it did.
No, it's all that we knew.
It was all that we knew, but actually, it did feel like we were living on naval base. But our experience of what the naval base was like a little bubble.
Yeah.
And as a 9-year-old, you have no real concept. I mean, I knew my dad was working on ships and boats that were around the corner somewhere, I don't even know who we were.
It was just like a big club, though, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
You know, you used to go and meet your friends there.
It's very expat.
Yeah,
It was very expat like.
Yeah, now you look back, yeah. I remember having my first Coca-Cola.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Out of a glass bottle.
Out of a glass bottle.
I'll tell you what I do remember on that note. I do remember very clearly the Americans coming to town. The US Navy came to visit, and because my dad was very involved in, I suppose all of the guys were very involved in hosting them. And we got to visit an American submarine.
Yes.
Because the layout was totally different to our experience. Our dad, I think, only worked on diesel subs. And if you've ever been on one, they are the tiniest spaces and the stinkiest spaces ever. But I remember the American sub. It was obviously different, probably newer and a different class anyway. But they were wider, more spacious.
And they gave us ice cream.
They gave us ice cream. And that was really interesting because I remember being presented with this bowl of ice cream and being quite overwhelmed and thinking, God, this is great.
Yeah.
And then thinking I had to share it because it was quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
But they said, no, that's just for you. I remember thinking,
yeah, I remember that.
I remember this. So I do remember the Americans coming to town. And so we got Navy Day visits on that. But I have no memory of the actual ships, the berths, or what it looked like. I've got no memory. My only memory really is of school.
And Dad used to go away. Even then, they used to obviously do.
Yeah, we did it exercise.
Trials and exercises and things. I'm guessing around the region.
Weeks at a time.
Yeah, so he would be gone for
sometimes a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, was this something that you kind of became used to, that he will be away for stretches of time, or
Yeah. We just grew up like that. We grew up with our dad not being around most of the time, actually, and how being very excited when he was coming home.
Yeah, and then that's when we used to go out on trips, and when he was home, I was guessing he would have a week or two off then, and we'd go to Tiger Bung Gardens, or he'd take us into the city.
Tiger Bung Gardens was great.
We'd go to Sleater Island.
We'd go to Sleater Island. We also started, I think that's when trips became, there was an imperative thinking, we're not going to be here this long, we have to find out about places. So we used to go off to Pontian, which was the tiniest, ricketiest fishing village that did the most fantastic food. First time I had proper prawn crackers. They were the tastiest things
I don't remember that.
ever.
Oh, really? I don't remember the prawn crackers.
So Pontian, and then we go off to what we call Jason's Bay, but I'm not sure that is actually its Malay name, in Johor. On the east side, there was a series of sandy bays that was very popular with expats, where you could go and experience the sensation of getting blistered up and burnt. And Kota Tinggi, which was...
Kota Tinggi, we used to love Kota Tinggi.
Yeah, we went there a couple of times. Kota Tinggi to swim in the waterfall, the natural pools at Kota Tinggi, above the tin mine. Yeah. There was a tin mine downstream.
What's that?
Yeah. Where all the stuff ran into the river, and you wouldn't want to swim in that.
I remember Colin always said there were snakes in the water. There probably were.
There probably were. Yeah.
I never used to like to go too deep.
Yeah. But it was great, actually. It was very exciting. Yeah.
It was very free as well. It was very
in those days it was not much, it wasn't built up much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very more natural. I don't know, we just used to go off somewhere. And
Johor generally, I think maybe even so Johor Bahru is the town, isn't it, on the other side of the causeway?
Yeah.
So I think we might have even been shopping there a couple of